Hello guys, welcome back to the CTXCLOUD. This is the video number second in our training series. So today we are going to play some stuff around Hyper-V networking. So how we can manage the Hyper-V networking and how many types of switches present in the Hyper-V. So first of all, let me connect my Hyper-V server. So for that I have installed the Hyper-V role on my another server. So this is the Hyper-V manager, and there is you can see that there is 5 or 6 machines which are running on this Hyper-V. And now I am going to connect my second Hyper-V server. So click on connect server, and here you guys need to give the host name of that server. So my host name of another server, another Hyper-V core server is Hyper-V1, and I'm going to click on OK, and you guys can see that there is the second server which is connected, Hyper-V1. So first of all, we guys need to create an virtual switches to create the virtual machines, because whenever we build any infra, so generally we will do the networking first. So this is the same scenario here. Before we start creating virtual machines on this Hyper-V, we are going to manage the networking on Hyper-V. For that, you guys need to click on virtual switch manager. So if you guys are going to on virtual switch manager, you guys can see that there is 3 types of virtual switches are present here. First is external, second one is internal, and third one is private. So let me tell you difference, what is the difference between these 3 switches first, and then we will create the switch. So here I have created a one diagram. Here you guys can see that I have created 2 Hyper-V servers. So what is actually difference between this? So let me draw a pen here, and first of you guys can see that private switch. So what is exactly private switch? So with the help of private switch, we can manage the networking between all 4 VMs. Means all 4 VMs can connect with each other with the help of private switch, but they are not going to communicate with this core Hyper-V server. So they will not communicate. So how we guys can communicate with this core Hyper-V server? So that these with the help of private switch, these 4 machines can communicate with each other, but they are not going to communicate with the Hyper-V core server. So if we will configure the internal switch in our infra, then obviously they are going to communicate. These 4 machines communicate with each other, plus they 4 machine also going to communicate with this Hyper-V core server. Means there is a one IP address on your Hyper-V core, like 192.168.1.1, and 3 4 5 on the sequence. There are IP address on 4 virtual machines. So in private switch, the 2 3 4 and 5 IP address are going to communicate with each other, not 192.168.1.1. But now if we will configure the internal switch, obviously they are going to communicate with each other and then the core Hyper-V server. But let's take a scenario that we have 2 Hyper-V servers, and they are connected with a LAN network. Then how these 4 virtual machines and these 4 virtual machines communicate to each other? So this is like very simple. If we will configure this external switch on our environment, and we will connect these 2 Hyper-V servers with a LAN cable on the same subnet, then obviously these 4 virtual machines and these 4 virtual machines plus this Hyper-V and this Hyper-V are going to communicate with each other. So this is the basic difference between, what is the difference between private, internal and external switch. So hope you guys understand this. If you have any confusion or any questions, just put your comments in the comment section. I will try to explain more. In our lab scenario, we are going to use external switch because I have 2 or 3 Hyper-V servers and they are going to communicate with each other. So on the top of that I have virtual machines, like I show in my few seconds back, that there is like 6 virtual machines are running on this Hyper-V, and another virtual machines I am going to create on this Hyper-V one. So it is like the same scenario. There are 6 server virtual machines are running on this Hyper-V. Another Hyper-V one I have created just now, and on the top of that I am going to create virtual machines. So my objective is that these virtual machines and these virtual machines are communicate to each other. That's why I'm going to create an external switch. So for that I am going on my lab, and I'm going to click on virtual switch manager. So here it is going, and the first option is given, it's the priority, that external switch, because most of the we will go with the default settings, and that's why Hyper-V given this on the top of that, because in most of the companies we have multiple Hyper-V switches, and if they are not going to communicate with external network, then how it is possible to communicate other servers with these servers? So that's why. So click on external switch and create a virtual switch. Here it is asking what is the name you want to give this virtual switch. So I am going to give external hyphen LAN. So this is going to communicate with my LAN network. So now here you guys need to select the physical adapter. So from where the actual network flow is going, let's say there is one adapter here and there is one adapter here. So these are the physical adapters. So from where the network will flow from this physical adapter to this physical adapter. So here you guys need to select the physical adapter. So let's say in my case, this Realtek Gaming GB family controller is my physical adapter. So I am going to select this and click on apply. So it will take like few seconds to configure, and now click on OK. So now my one virtual switch is created. So you guys can see that external LAN. So on the same switch we are going, this same switch we are going to use for our virtual machines. The next step is, let's say I am going to create an virtual machines here. Click on next, and I am going to give the CTX VM SVR01 VM server I am going to create here. Click on next. Here it is asking how much RAM you want to give this virtual machine. So I'm going to give 4 gigs of RAM, and it's dynamically whenever the server required more RAM, then it will utilize over 4 GB. Otherwise this will use the standard RAM like 1 GB, 2 GB. If he's ideal, then he will consume 1 GB of RAM, then ideal it will give to the other servers who is required. So that's why now I'm going 4 gigs of RAM. Click on next. Here I'm going to select external LAN switch which we have created recently. So just click on this, click on next. Here it is asking how much hard disk you want to give this virtual machine. So I'm going to give 60 gigs of 60 gigs of hard disk to this virtual machine. Click on next. Here it is asking install the operating system later, or you want to install the operating system right now with the bootable CD or ROM. So let's say I'm going to use this, and click on image. So now it is asking from where you want to pick this ISO image, because in C drive I do not have any ISO folder here. So now this is the challenge, because if you have a server and on the top of that you have created a you have installed the Hyper-V role, then this is a GUI, and on that you can easily create a folder But in Hyper-V, this is the option is not present, because you, if you will click here, this will not give an option to create a new folder. So in Hyper-V core, how you guys can create a folder and how you guys can share the ISO images, this is what we are going to learn in our next video. So this is the end of this video. So if you like that I have explained networking, Hyper-V networking in a good way, so just put your comments in the comment section and just like this video, share it with your friends. So as soon I'm going to create the next video on how we can put the ISO images on a Hyper-V core server. So just stay connected with the CTX Cloud. Thank you guys.